I've tested a lot of cheap sewing machines, and I mean a lot of cheap sewing machines. And let me tell you, they're not all created equal. Today we're gonna look at 6 different sewing machines, all under $100, and we're gonna figure out which one is the best. Now I'm gonna give you some of the basic specs about all of them, as well as some of the pros and cons, and that way you can make an informed decision. Even if you don't like my favorite, you can make an informed decision as to which one is the best for you. And if you want a full review of any of these, definitely check out the description box below where you can get the full unboxing as well as my first impressions. All right, first up, let's start off with the Kylinton Mini sewing machine. Like the name says, this is a mini sewing machine. It has 12 stitches and all of the stitches are on one dial. You choose between whether you want a straight stitch, a longer straight stitch, a middle straight stitch, a short straight stitch, like that, like most mini sewing machines. It has a bobbin winder and a back stitch, and it does use metal bobbins. I thought that was a plus. And a thread cutter on the side. This one is $48 on Amazon. All right. For the pros, I thought that this one was super cute. It was a little bit different than a standard sewing machine, a little bit more urban. I appreciated that. And it did have a hand control. And what I mean by that is that it has on-off buttons that you can touch with your hand versus using the foot pedal. So if you have issues with using your feet and you want to use your hands, you can do that with this one. Another great thing is that it does have a blind stitch. So if you are hemming pants or altering something, you can use that. And it has a buttonhole. That is a big deal. Not all of the sewing machines under $100 has a buttonhole, so this one does have a 4-step buttonhole. I found it a little bit hard to use and the stitches were a little bit far apart, but it has one and that's a plus. Now for the cons, and for this one, the cons are pretty big. When you get to the end of your stitch and you put the needle all the way up and you try to pull the fabric out with the thread still attached, that thread does not move. No matter what position you put that needle, it doesn't want to move. And so you end up having to do a little dance with the sewing machine trying to get the thread out. And I don't like that. And especially for a beginner, I really don't like that. And the purpose of this video is all about for beginners. So you want something that, one, resembles every other standard sewing machine and that's easy to use. So it doesn't get my vote for that reason. And this is the worst one. It can't sew through anything more than 2 layers of denim. Now, for me and what I do, you know, that is a definite. But for a lot of people, denim is quite thick, and it was standard denim that I was using, not thin, stretchy denim. But that lets me know that the motor isn't strong at all. If all you're doing is sewing through like a thin cotton, like a blouse or dress shirts, you should be able to use this. But anything more than that, you won't be able to use it. The whole sewing machine just turns off and says, no thank you. All right, next up is the Singer M1000, which is my go-to travel machine. I told you guys about this one a while back. It is specifically meant for mending. And so although it is a mini sewing machine, it is light, it has a couple extra stitches that make it perfect for mending your clothes. All right, so the box says this one has 32 stitches, but I really feel like it only has about 11 or 12. Now, somebody in the comments of that video did say that you can turn the dial in between the stitches to get varying degrees of the stitches, so I guess in that case it would be 32. But in addition to that, it also has bobbin winding. That's a big one. It has a back stitch and it comes with a guard. The guard I especially appreciate if you're going to buy this for a child. The guard will keep them from touching the needle or accidentally getting their finger under the needle while they're sewing. And this one is running about $90 right now. Now, what are the pros to this machine? This machine, I feel like, has a better quality. When I am sewing with it, listening to it, it sounds like the quality is a little bit better. And of course, it does have the Singer name behind it, so it is going to come with some type of warranty. This one also has a blind hem stitch and does sew through 4 layers of denim. And anything more than that, the sewing machine just kind of turns off. I guess in a way that is a safety control to keep you from breaking your needles or messing up the motor. But yeah, 4 layers of denim, which is better than 2. But one of the cons for this machine, which I really don't like, is that it only sews 1 speed. Yes, 1 speed. No matter how lightly or hard you press the foot pedal, you get 1 speed. And so I feel like for a beginner, you should be able to go a really slow speed because they might be scared. And then if you are more advanced and you're just buying this as an extra sewing machine for traveling, you might want to go fast. So that was a con for me. And then also, this may be a con to you, it doesn't have hand control. I personally don't use hand control. I don't like it. I like to use my foot, but if that's something you're looking for, this doesn't have it. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Definitely, if you are into sewing and upcycling content, if you like to take old clothes and make new clothes, or if you just want to alter your clothes to make them fit you better, definitely this is the place you want to be. So hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you don't miss a thing. All right, so next up is the Janome easy to use new home portable machine. I thoroughly enjoyed using this machine. I just felt like I was using a regular sewing machine, and so for that reason I really liked sewing with it, and I actually did a whole project with it and I didn't have any issues. This comes with 10 stitches, bobbin winding, back stitch, and it comes with a safety guard. So once again, if you're a beginner and you're scared that you're gonna sew your finger, this one may be the right one for you. The pros to this machine, like I said, it was a joy to sew on. The stitches look absolutely amazing. And this is the only one that comes in 8 different colors. Yes, you can get this sewing machine whatever your aesthetic is, and that is one of my biggest pet peeves about sewing machines, is that a lot of times they only have one type of individual in mind. There's so many different people who sew now. People use sewing machines to sew wigs. So I think a sewing machine that comes in all the colors of the rainbow is amazing. And it also sews 8 layers of denim. Yes, 8 layers of denim. Like I said, it was a dream to sew with. Now, it does have 2 cons. It does not have a light. I thought that was crazy, but maybe it allowed them to put more effort into actually making sure the sewing machine can sew well. But you can buy an external lamp for it. For one of my sewing machines, I bought one of the sticky ones, and that was years ago. It's still fully stuck on the sewing machine. So I'll put a link to that in the description box if you're interested. But the other thing is that this has no hand control. Like I said, that may be a con to you. It's not a con to me, but I'll put it out there so you know which ones do which. And this one, you can only use the foot pedal. All right, so next up, let's talk about the Varmax mini sewing machine with table. The fact that this one did come with so many accessories and a table, I thought was really cool. And the specs for this one is that it does have a bobbin winder, but it only sews a straight stitch. This is just a straight stitch sewing machine. So no zigzag, no blind hem, no other type of stitches, and not even different lengths of stitches. It's one stitch, a straight stitch, and that's what it does. This one is really tiny, and it actually uses a bobbin as the main source of thread and a bobbin down at the bottom as well. Now, what are the pros to this sewing machine? It does have hand control. So there is an on-off button on the front that you can use to start sewing and then to stop sewing. And you can use batteries. So if you're on the go and you don't have any place to plug it in, just pop in some batteries and you can still be sewing, like on a road trip or something like that. And it also sews 4 layers of denim. So for something this small to be able to sew 4 layers, and we saw another one that was larger than this and couldn't, I think that that's excellent. Now, obviously, the con for this is that it only sews 1 stitch. Now, of course, a lot of our industrial sewing machines only sew 1 stitch, so that's not the end of the world. It also doesn't have a back stitch, and the thread is hard to pull out. That was the biggest con for me. I don't like, especially for beginners, like I said again, if I have a hard time getting the thread out once I sew, I feel like that is a manufacturing flaw. But if you only have $40, you may not care. All right, so next up we have this electric portable sewing machine that runs about $63 on Amazon. There's so many manufacturers for this particular sewing machine. It doesn't have a brand name, and I'll talk more about that later, but this one kind of has it all. It has 12 stitches, a back stitch, and a thread cutter on the side. The pros is that it does have a buttonhole. It has hand control, and it sews 8 layers of denim. The thread is not hard to pull out, so yes, this one kind of does it all. The only bad thing is that I feel like there's no manufacturing control. So just because I had a great experience with it doesn't necessarily mean you'll have a great experience with it. And some people did say in the comments that it doesn't last much more than a couple years. But I do really like the design of this one, and I have seen it not only come in this purple, but come in white and black, white and blue, and several other colors. And last up is the Brother LX3817. This is actually the only full-size sewing machine in this video, and it comes in at $76 at Walmart. All right, so here's the specs. It has 17 stitches, a back stitch, and a thread cutter on the side. And the pros is that it does have a buttonhole. It is full size. Like I said, that actually could be a pro or a con. If you are looking for something that's more like a standard sewing machine, like you're buying this for someone and you want them to have a quote-unquote real sewing machine, this one will be the closest to that. But for those of you who want a mobile sewing machine, it's only 10 pounds, so don't get it twisted. It's still very light. But if you want something more along the 5-pound range, or something that you can take with you really easy, that may be a con to you. But since it is a brother, I do believe that this one will last a little bit longer, and the plug on the side for brothers are all standard pretty much. So whether I'm using my Serger, my brother Strong and Tough, or this one, they all have the same foot plug. So if whatever comes up missing, all I have to do is take one from my other sewing machine. And it will sew 8 layers of denim, so that is amazing. So what are the cons to this machine? It doesn't have hand control if that is something you're looking for, and I think one of the only minimal cons on this one is the design. I don't particularly care for the paisley on the side. You may find that absolutely amazing. That wouldn't be a big turn off for anybody looking for a beginner sewing machine, but if you care to display your sewing machines, then this one only comes in this white with the paisley on the side. It comes in a blue, and it comes in like a dark gray or black. And another thing I have to say, because I love to be perfectly honest with you guys, this is the second Brother LX3817 that I've had to buy. The first one was a lemon, and I am a brother girl. You guys know I am never sponsored. They need to sponsor me, brother. You need to sponsor me. But I am a brother and Burnett girl. Those are my favorites normally. But when I got this, I was so disappointed. It was a lemon. It didn't work. There was nothing I could do to make it work, and I was not taking a brand new sewing machine to a sewing machine repair person. So I took it right on back to Walmart, and I got another one, and the second one works perfect. So although I really like it, I have to put that out there. So make sure you are purchasing sewing machines, any of these sewing machines, from some place that you can return. And word to the wise, if you buy a sewing machine off of joannfabrics.com, they will charge you, I think it's a $5 to $25 restocking fee. So that's just word to the wise. All right, so what's the bottom line? Which one am I voting to be the very best sewing machine for under $100 right now? I am actually going to choose the Brother LX3817. Although it made me very angry that it didn't work the first time, after everything was said and done, I think personally, when you get one that works, it will last you a good amount of time. I think that it is very much like a standard sewing machine. So once you get ready to upgrade, there won't be much of a learning curve, and it'll do pretty much everything you need it to do. It does a great buttonhole. Not all of them that do buttonholes do good buttonholes. This one, the zigzags were close enough for it to actually be considered a buttonhole. But if you need something that's miniature, you need to put it away in a small cabinet, you don't have a whole lot of room to set up, then I would go for this no-name electric portable machine. This one, a lot of people have been using this. They used it to learn how to sew, and they were very happy with it until they were able to upgrade to something else. It sews 8 layers of denim, has the hand control and the light and everything that you need in order to start learning how to sew. And then an honorable mention to the Janome. Like I said, I absolutely loved sewing with it. The only bad thing about it is that it doesn't have a buttonhole and it doesn't have a light. But if you are looking for something to sew 8 layers of denim that is miniature and is going to last you a long time, that would be my recommendation. So those are my top 3. Let me know in the comments which one you think is the best, and definitely hit that subscribe button for more. I am teaching a series on how to get your sewing machine set up and start sewing fast. All right, I definitely have other videos for you to watch right here, sewing tutorials, as well as actual easy projects that you can work on, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.